We have a new gas valve and a new control board. Let's go fix that exploding furnace. If you didn't see the video I'm talking about, it's called "This Furnace is the Bomb" or something like that. A lady had called me and said her furnace had blew the door off again, and it had apparently been something that happened occasionally. So I went to check it out, did a little diagnostics, and really couldn't prove anything one way or another. So we're going to replace the control board and the gas valve just to be on the safe side. Okay, she stayed here all night. The gas valve was off. So we're going to replace this, most of this, and this control board. And I think that'll about do it. So we'll get started taking her apart. In my experience, it's never a good idea to reuse a union, especially one that's probably been there for 40 years or more. They get used to where they are, and when you put them back together, you never get it back in the same spot. So that goes in the pile. Okay, I just removed the spring from the old valve, and it did have the correct spring in it. I picked this up to have, at least it's got some stickers in it I can put on this thing. But it was converted. The supply house said the original invoice had the LP kit on it. Here is the natural gas spring versus the LP spring. The LP spring puts a little more pressure on it. This one's softer. This one's a little harder to push. Spring just seats back down in there on its little knob. Replaced the adjustment nut here that pushes down the spring. The old one was 2 turns from pretty much being bottomed out, and it was set pretty close, so I think I'll probably start there on this one. Okay, there's a half, 1, 1.5, 2. So that's where we're going to start on this one as far as the adjustment. As you can see, that drain line would kind of be in the way of getting in here good. So I'm going to actually cut it here and down here and repipe this into a separate hole. Well, that didn't go as well, it went as expected. Usually this old stuff gets brittle and breaks, but we'll just go all the way back into the threaded fitting. So we got a little room in here to work now. This is going to be the part that's going to be tough, because if I've got a nipple that long, I'm probably going to need it. I may end up having to use some couplings, or I could go to the shop and thread some pipe, but that's probably not important to do that. But see, I think we can get in here, do us 2 90s and 2 short nipples, and do our U-turn. So I'll get to work on this. All right, fellas, we got black iron pipe all the way up to the valve. I typically don't like to go all the way to the valve, but that nipple, I didn't have anything that would reach from it down to this T without a coupling, so I just put in another nipple there. So I've double checked it. I may or may not have checked it with a lighter just to make sure. Can't be too careful. But I'm going to jump down here and start unwiring this board so we can put the new board in and fire it up and see how it does. Okay, got the new board in. I hadn't hooked up the thermostat wires yet because I want to be able to just control it out here. I'd have to unhook them anyway. So I'm going to jump red up to white with a little jumper cable. Got my manometer on here on the outgoing side, and we're going to see what we got. Got my screwdriver here. I got the cap off the valve. The instructions say 9.8. The door says 10 on the manifold pressure. Shouldn't be too much air in these lines. I bled it right before I put this cap on. 9.2, and then here 9.6, 9.7, I'm sure close to 9.8. 979. Here comes the blower. 985. I'm going to call that good. I'm going to put the thermostat wires on it so I can button it up, and I'm going to have her turn it on along with the gas fireplace. I think that's the only other thing she has is propane, and run it at the same time and check the pressure. Well, even with the other fireplace on upstairs, the other gas fireplace, it's still 9.7, and the door says the minimum is 8 and maximum is 10. So we're in there. It's burning good. Well, the door is back on. Hopefully it'll stay on this time. Okay, I just bit the little metal piece and pulled the top off to get the solenoid and the control off. But they've got these tamper resistant screws on everything. Torx tamper resistant. Hey, wait, I think I got just a tool for that. Yeah, there it is. Okay, got these tamper resistant Torx bits. Oh yeah, I'll get all these out and we'll see what's in it. Okay, it does have a large screen on the inlet side, which would typically catch anything coming out of your line. And as you can see, it's pristine. There ain't a thing on it. So, and it's got its own little sediment trap, if you will. Anything coming in here is going to hit this back in there and drop down here and lay in the bottom. So, if there's anything leaking by this valve, it would be because of probably a manufacturing defect or something. We can go a little deeper. I can take this plunger out, looks like, and see if there's anything wrong with the seat or the seal right there. I think I just reamed it out. We might not go in there unless we grind that off with something. That's a shame. We were so close to knowing what was going on. Let's find a drill. Let me wipe some of these shavings off here. I'll leave the plunger in there for now. Didn't want to touch it because I didn't know if there would be anything wrong with it that we could maybe see on camera. Let's look down at the seat. I don't see how much could have got by that screen. If it was in there, it would have been in there from the time it was manufactured, I would think. So it's probably a sequence thing where the board was letting it open when it wasn't supposed to be. Go ahead and check out the regulator side here while we're doing it. Smells like propane. Got another screen in there. Is that debris or is that just there's some junk in there. I don't know what it is. See it? Little black bits. That would have come in from this side though. So that's probably, those manifolds are painted. So that's probably stuff that comes off those manifolds when they put it, screw it on there at the factory, because it didn't look like it had a lot of smooth on it. It had a little bit of lube more than anything. But I guess that screen is to prevent anything from going backwards into the valve coming from the outlet side. So I guess that stuff wouldn't actually be of concern. So I don't know. So the screen looked really good, nothing in it. The valve, the inlet side of the valve looks really clean. The seat looks good. And the plunger looked okay too, I think. So probably wasn't the valve. Hopefully it was just that board doing something kind of weird at time to time. Well, I guess the only thing to do now is maybe put it back together, put all the screws back in it, and put it up on Facebook Marketplace for about $350. What do you think? Yeah, that's a little joke. Never ever reuse a used gas valve, or even never open one up unless you're just doing an autopsy. That's all I was doing, just trying to see if there was anything obvious. One of my buddies said he took one apart one time that was causing some issues, and he found a piece of Teflon in the actual valve. But again, I don't see how anything could have gotten in this one the way they've got it constructed, unless somebody had it apart and put it back together. But at any rate, I just wanted to make it clear that I was not condoning putting this on Facebook Marketplace. So it's New Year's Eve. I came in here at the shop to wait on a delivery, and it's going to be just a little bit, so I'm doing a little bit of much needed cleaning. Does it take long to make a mess when you're busy? I'm boxing this metal scraps up. I usually dump them in an air handler and give them to the scrap guy when he comes. See, I got me a new filter down here. I was just thinking, I don't know when the last time I changed my filter is. Actually, I do know when the last time I changed my filters. HVAC guys, huh? Thanks for watching.